Trump picked his 36-year-old son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who has zero experience in diplomacy and politics, to be a senior White House advisor, in a nepotistic move fitting for a third-world dictator that Trump apparently aspires to be. But now the authoritarian prodigy Kushner is finding himself in hot water on multiple fronts. Before he was given a job in the White House as a guy sleeping with the president's daughter, yeah, I said it, he was running an online news publication of questionable repute in New York called The Observer, where he apparently cheated his employees out of their compensation. Politico dropped the bombshell on Kushner when they revealed that he failed to pay his employees, citing financial concerns, and asked them to, quote, take one for the team. Like Trump, Kushner apparently finds it perfectly acceptable to hire employees, promise them pay, and then abruptly take back the promise once the job has been completed. It's a long-standing business practice of Trump's as well, and the impetus behind many of the overwhelming number of lawsuits that have been brought against him. When he pulled this move, the top employee at The Observer subsequently quit, and now, every time she sees him on TV or on the streets of New York, she points him out to people and says, that's the guy that stole my money. She also called him out on Facebook during the whole ordeal, saying, we're talking about a guy who isn't particularly bright or hardworking, doesn't actually know anything, has bought his way into everything ever with money he got from his criminal father, who's deeply insecure and obsessed with fame. You don't buy the New York Observer, marry Ivanka Trump, or constantly talk about the phone calls that you get from celebrities if it's in your nature to shun the spotlight. And who's basically a shithead. Don't hold back, girl. Tell us how you really feel. And it's not just former employees calling out Kushner for being a total dirtbag of a person. He's also a slumlord who's getting called out by tenants who live in low-income housing that's managed by JK2 Westminster, which is the management arm of Kushner's mini Trump-like real estate empire. According to Salon, here's how Kush does business. In 2010, Joan Beverly's daughter had moved out of a unit she rented months before her lease was up. 2 years later, Kushner Company sued Beverly for several months of rent plus $1,000 in repair costs and a $10 fine for failing to return a laundry room card. Beverly was dealing with pancreatic cancer at the time, which caused extreme financial distress because she's not able to work. In the suit, Beverly submitted evidence showing financial hardship, but JK2 Westminster persisted with its case regardless. She died 2 weeks later. Yes, that means Kushner's company made some poor woman spend the last months of her life fighting a protracted legal battle over money she didn't even have to begin with. The financial hardship and stress surrounding the legal concerns probably had a significant impact on the decline in her health. Doing shit like that makes you a grade A asshole, Kushner. And as if cheating people with your businesses and adding additional misery to people's poverty isn't bad enough, Kushner's also a significant focus in the investigation into Trump's collusion with the Russian interference in the last election, which adds treason to his list of vices. Kushner met with a well-known Russian spy recruiter, Ambassador Sergei Kislyak, along with bankers from a Russian state-owned bank last December, according to the Washington Post. And he's already lawyered up in anticipation of getting hauled before Congress to testify about possible coordination between Putin's Kremlin and the Trump campaign. Did I mention that he also owes over $1 billion in loans to Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Blackstone Group, Citigroup, UBS, RBS, Deutsche Bank, and Peter Thiel, which he somehow failed to mention while he was getting his security clearance to work in the White House? I'm sure that won't color his judgment when he's, say, advising the president on banking policy and economic matters. And remember that the 36-year-old Kushner, who's never worked in international diplomacy or domestic politics, is considered the president's most trusted advisor. So whether it's cheating his employees or cheating on America or running up levels of debt that will inevitably bankrupt his businesses, it's pretty clear that Kushner is just the kind of mini-me that Donald Trump has always wanted. Perhaps Kushner's presence in the Oval Office is just one more reason that Trump's White House is a case study in disastrous dysfunction. I'm Ryan Clayton. This is Content News. Come back daily for the news where we're free to share the truth.